Good evening and a very warm welcome to everyone gathered here for the 71st Study Circle meeting. On behalf of the Study Circle team, I wish you all a very happy, healthy and prosperous New Year 2021. For today's session, we have Mr. M. Ravindran, Senior Advocate in the Madras High Court, talking about his journey through books for us. This session will be moderated by Senior Advocate Mr. Om Prakash. I invite him to take over.
Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to welcome you all to the first session of the new year and extend a very warm greetings on behalf of Study Circle. Today, we have amongst us the most prolific senior advocate, Mr. M. Ravindran, to address and make the day useful for us. I would be doing injustice if I claim that this is an introduction speech to the speaker of the day. Mr. M. Ravindran, Senior Advocate, is known to everyone and does not require an introduction. A very towering personality of the Madras Bar, he has been associated with every facet of legal profession in the Madras High Court. Our senior was enrolled in the year 1966 and was associated with Mr. Mohan Kumaramangalam, a doyen on the criminal side practice in Madras High Court, who later became the central minister. Sir was also associated with Mr. N. Natarajan, Senior Advocate, and yet another doyen of the bar. Mr. M. Ravindran was designated as a senior advocate in July 1993. Sir has contributed immensely to the march of law and was in the forefront of every activity concerning the bar and the bench, with the High Court having him as the convener for many seminars and knowledge-sharing initiatives. He has been the resource person to the Judicial Academy in giving lectures to the judiciary. He has submitted various papers at seminars, and the list is too long for me to repeat the same here. Senior Advocate had shaped the activities of Madras Bar Association as its secretary and later as president for 5 years during 1994 and 1999, collaborating the association activities with the High Court and the US Consulate General at Chennai and United Nations Human Rights Commission at New Delhi. The Madras Bar Association had its most of academic activities during the period when Sir was in the forefront. Senior Advocate was the chief panelist from Madras at the Dialogue on Rule of Law and Judicial Reforms US Experience, telecast on WorldNet, Washington, D.C. on 27 February 1997. Mr. M. Ravindran had discharged his duties as Commissioner and Administrator appointed by High Court for Ishwari Group of Finance Firms and Anubhav Group of companies working towards the utmost interest of the depositors of these finance institutions. He was appointed as the Additional Solicitor General of India and held the post during 2008 to 2012, appearing before various high courts in all the southern states. He had visited United States of America as an invitee of the US government and gained first-hand information on the justice delivery system and working of law enforcement in US by personally visiting to the Supreme Court, High Court, and the police headquarters at Washington, D.C. Senior is an avid traveler, having traveled to countries like UK, Canada, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Austria, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, Japan, Australia, China, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. As you all know, books are a lifeline of an advocate's library or an advocate's career. Without books, an advocate is nothing. A book is a source for a person in many ways. It becomes an inspiration, it becomes a guide, it becomes a friend. And today our senior is going to take us through his journey with books. With this small introductory talk, I invite Senior Advocate Mr. M. Ravindran to address our gathering.
Thank you, Om Prakash. So first, let me wish all of you a very happy new year. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers of the meeting for having enabled me to meet all of you on the first day of 2021. Especially, I would like to mention my good friends Om Prakash, Sivashanmugam, Murthy, Ashokapati, Murali, Subhash, Raghavendra, Ms. Ritika, and others. The topic for today's discussion or lecture, whatever it is my journey through books. I have completed 79 years of age and stepped into my 80th year. I will be completing 55 years of active practice this January 2021. If any of you feels that I am successful at the bar, I owe it to the books and authors who have shaped my life all these years. I'll deem it a privilege if my lecture has kindled the interest of book reading among the younger members of the bar. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. This was stated by Joseph Addison 300 years ago. He was a great essayist and co-founder of the Spectator magazine in England in 1711. In our home, books are like a silent family member. They have an abiding presence in the house. Apart from legal books and journals, I have built a modest personal library over the past 60 years, with thousands of books in Tamil and English on dozens of topics, including children's books for my grandchildren and the children who visit our home. My reading habit was entwined with the evolution of Indian history and world history. First phase was the period ending with World War II in 1945. Second phase was our independence in 1947 and the emergence of our country as a world leader under Nehruji. Third phase was my enrollment and practice as advocate and after years. When World War II ended in 1945, I was 4 years old. The next decade saw publication of numerous historic fictional novels based on the war and books on the actual war between Allies and Axis. Some of the books I read, I will mention. One is On the Beach by Neville Shute. It was based on nuclear war. Two Women and Women of Rome are the two books written by Alberto Moravia, an Italian author. These two books depicted the plight of common people during the World War and during the atrocities committed by the fascists in Italy. Armageddon by Leon Uris depicted the final stages of the war and the division of Berlin into East and West and how common people suffered because of the division. His other book, Exodus, is considered to be a classic. It shows how Jews have suffered through ages and how Israel came into being. Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer is about how the Nazis came to power, Adolf Hitler's total control over Germany and Austria, the actual World War, the ultimate fall of the Nazi Germany. Commandant of Auschwitz by Rudolf Höss was the first-person account of the Holocaust. Millions of Jews were exterminated in concentration camps. Only people with strong heart could read this book. Inside the Third Reich is by Albert Speer, who was the chief architect to Hitler. He was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment in the Nuremberg war trial. He started writing this while he was in prison. He has described his meetings with Hitler on daily basis and how Nazis ran the government during World War. All these books gave an idea about the scourge of war and the suffering by common man, and how, because of one man's madness and the total surrender of his country to his whims and fancies, did havoc to millions of people, especially the Jews who lost 6 million lives. Then came our independence in 1947. Everywhere we heard D.K. Pattammal singing the song of Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati, Aduvome, Pallu Paduvome. There was a lot of jubilation. But along with independence came the partition of India and the assassination of Mahatma. I was 7 years old. There was fall of bloom everywhere. My father went to Rameswaram to pay homage to the ashes of Mahatma Gandhi, which was scattered in the sea of Rameswaram. During this period, I read books written by our national leaders or books written about or on our national leaders. Mahatma Gandhi's Experiment with Truth, Nehruji's Discovery of India, Glimpses of World History, his autobiography, his letters from a father to his daughter, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad's books, and books written by Rajaji, books on Congress, its non-cooperation movement, its Quit India movement of 1942, books on Bhagat Singh, Rajaguru, Sukhdev, and their execution in 1931, poetry of Rabindranath Tagore and Sarojini Naidu, books Springing Tiger by an English author, Hugh Toyle, on Subhash Chandra Bose and Indian Army, books on Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919. All these inspired nationalism and inculcated national pride. It showed us the sacrifice made by thousands of satyagrahis during freedom movement, their imprisonment, loss of life and livelihood, and instilled in us that we must preserve our hard-won independence. After independence, India opted to stay out of US-led Western capitalist bloc and the Soviet-led communist bloc. But we had good ties with the Soviet Union. Under the towering personality and leadership of Nehruji, India pioneered the principle of non-alignment. This gave a third option for several sovereign world nations which attained independence along with us. Books related to these world events were of great interest to me. Conferences held at Bandung, Belgrade, and Havana were of great interest and made interesting reading. 1955 was an important year at our national level. In that year, Congress held its annual session at Avadi and passed the historic resolution of ushering in socialistic pattern of society. It was a via media between capitalism and communism. All heavy industries were allocated to public sector. Private entrepreneurs were permitted to develop other industries. Later part of 50s and the decade of 60 saw the phenomenal growth of industries in our country. Then came the Chinese aggression in 1962. With that, the decline of Nehruji's health and his ultimate passing away in 1964. This was the time when Rajaji and his Swantara party criticized the license Raj that came into being during the protected socialist economy period. Several books were published on socio-economic aspects of these policies for and against. All these debates were held in the open public sphere, and we read several books on these topics. In 1965, there was war with Pakistan. It was a 17-day war. Mostly armored vehicles were used. Patent tanks supplied by US to Pakistan were supposed to be superior in warfare. But our army smashed those tanks. 300 out of 350 tanks were destroyed. Lal Bahadur Shastri died in Tashkent in January 66. Within 2 years, India lost 2 prime ministers. About this war of 1965 and on the death of Lal Bahadur Shastri, several books were published. Shastri's death, according to some, remains a mystery even today. Congress elected Indira Gandhi as Prime Minister in 1966. I was enrolled in January 1966. From this time onwards, many of you know the history of our country. Indira Gandhi abolished Privy Purse, devalued rupee, and introduced bank nationalization. These were challenged in the Supreme Court. All of us have read the judgments. Then 1971, we fought the war with Pakistan and Bangladesh was born. There were books on this war by retired army generals, political commentators, and others. These books made happy reading. Thus, my book reading was entwined with our history. In our youthful idealism, after Avadi session, we read books on socialism written by Ashok Mehta, Acharya Kripalani, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Achyut Patwardhan, Madhuli Maye, and others. It is my firm belief that India had survived the economic crisis that engulfed countries in Asia during 1997, as heavy industries were in the hands of the government. We did not depend on advanced countries to import heavy goods. Economies in many countries in Asia, which depended on foreign capital, collapsed. But there was no appreciable adverse impact on our economy. Certainly, the opening up of our economy under P.V. Narasimha Rao as Prime Minister from 1991 onwards came at the right time, ushering in India's deeper integration into the global economy. I studied for 4 years at Sethupathi High School, Madurai. I am proud to say that Subramania Bharati had taught in this school just 4 decades prior to my joining the school. 30 years before independence, Bharati sang, Aaduvome, Pallu Paaduvome, Ananda Suvandaram Adaindu Vittom Endru. What a foresight. 30 years ago, he sang this song before independence. I had other teachers in the school who were erudite and cultured and instilled a love of reading in me. The first English novel which I read was Lost Horizon by James Hilton. It was prescribed as a textbook for my non-detailed subject. It was about a utopian seminary of lamas in a place called Shangri-La in the Tibetan high mountain. It was made into a film later on. The last scene was very touching. The heroine, who was young and beautiful in Shangri-La, followed her lover to the plains, and while descending from the Himalayan high mountain, her skin got crinkled and slowly she transformed into an old lady. During my college days, I read Somerset Maugham and George Bernard Shaw. Maugham Moon and Sixpence, Of Human Bondage, The Razor's Edge were outstanding. He wrote Razor's Edge after meeting Ramana Maharishi at Tiruvannamalai. One could find veiled references to the Maharishi in the novel. I read the translated works of the great Russian philosopher and writer Leo Tolstoy, War and Peace, which is one of the longest books in the world. From young age, I was exposed to the poetry of Alvars. It is common sight in my village that during the month of Margali, the residents would go around the village singing the pasurams. During my BSc years at the American College, I was exposed to the grand literary tradition of the Bible and of Shakespeare. The King James Bible is known for its contribution to modern English language. As for Shakespeare, playing the role of Macbeth in the college annual day is evergreen in my memory. My principal, S.J. Savararayan, presented me with the complete works of Shakespeare, and my vice principal, Reverend Frederick Jacob, presented me with the Chambers Dictionary. It was in the year 1962. I cherish those 2 books even today. During my high school and college days, I was also introduced to Tamil poetry and novels. For your information, I secured 2nd class in Tamil in my BSc from the Madras University. The novels like Ponniyin Selvan and Sivagamiyin Sabadam by Kalki, Mahabharata and Ramayana by Rajaji, Muttollayiram by Rasigamani T.K. Siddhamarnatha Mudaliyar, Tamil essays by Rapi Sethu Pillai were some of the books which I read. Rajaji, Kalki and TKC used to meet at Kuttalam during season every year. Maharajan was the youngest member of the team and was an apprentice learning Tamil from them. Later on, he became a judge of our High Court. Deepavali Malar, published by Kalki every year, and articles written by them. They were of very high standard and with literary flavor. TKC was an authority on Kamban. I could quote one instance to show his erudition. குலோத்துங்க சோழன் கருத்து வேறுபாடு காரணமாக கம்பரை நாடு கடத்துகிறான். அப்போது கம்பர் பாடியதாக ஒரு பாடல் உள்ளது. அந்த பாடல், மன்னவனும் நீயோ வளநாடும் உன்னதோ, உன்னை அறிந்தோ தமிழை ஓதினேன், என்னை விரைந்து ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாத வேந்து உண்டோ, உண்டோ குரங்கு ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாத கொம்பு. TKC did not agree with the last sentence, that is, உண்டோ, என்னை விரைந்து ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாத வேந்து உண்டோ, உண்டோ குரங்கு ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாத கொம்பு. He did not consider it was sung by Kamban. Therefore, he changed the last sentence as follows. என்னை பரிந்து ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாத பதி உண்டோ, உண்டோ விரைந்து ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாத வேந்து. How beautifully he has changed it, one can appreciate. I also took interest in reading Sangam literature. Though I could quote several poems, I would stop with only one. சுனைவா சிறுநீரை எய்தாதென்று எண்ணி பிணைமான் எனில் உச்சம் சுரமன்பர் காதலர் உள்ளம் படர்ந்த நெறி. சுனையில் சிறிது அளவே நீர் உள்ளது. ஆண்மான் குடிக்கவில்லை எனில் பெண்மானும் குடிக்காது. ஆண்மான் சுனை நீரில் வாய் வைத்து குடிப்பது போல் பாவனை செய்து பெண்மானை குடிக்க வைக்கிறது. இதுதான் காதலர் உள்ளத்தின் நெறியாகும். இந்த பாடல் மாறன் பொறையனார் பாடியது. பாடல் 38, 5:50. I have also understood that unless you appreciate your literary and cultural tradition, you cannot understand other cultures. I am a great admirer of Sangam literature and have collected the elegant publications of Vartamanam Press in Chennai. Sangam poetry transports you to an era thousands of years ago. Not only does it address the lives of kings and princes, but it also describes the lives of common people. In the same way, I do not know if there is an equivalent of Thirukural anywhere in the world. Of all the 1330 Kurals, Kural number 423 stands out, 423, because it applies to all ages. எப்பொருள் யார் யார் வாய் கேட்பினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பது அறிவு. எந்த ஒரு செய்தியை பற்றி யார் ஒருவர் சொல்ல கேட்டாலும் அப்பொருளின் மெய்ப்பொருளை ஆராய்ந்து கண்டுகொள்வது அறிவு. Thiruvalluvar is considered to have written this 2500 years ago. More or less the same period, another great mind lived in Greece, Socrates. He lived between 470 BC to 399 BC. He taught his students to question anything and everything with how and why. In terms of spiritual growth, it is possible to spend a lifetime reading the works of the great masters, as in the case of Swami Vivekananda, or by the disciples, as with certain jnanis and yogis. The book on Indian philosophy by Dr. Radhakrishnan is a classic. Rajaji has contributed greatly to the retelling of Indian mythological tales. I am happy to note that my children enjoy the graphic books Amar Chitra Katha, just as my children used to do. Kalki is among the pioneers of the literary genre, the tradition known as historical fiction. He takes characters we are familiar with and builds beautiful worlds and stories around them. We find ourselves inside that world with kings and queens and warriors, and sometimes it is difficult to come out of that world. I have heard this experience again recently with some brilliant writers in English. Amitav Ghosh, who did his PhD in Oxford University, uses his research skills to reconstruct world from a different era. His Glass Palace is about Burmese royalty, exile of the King of Burma, his last days at Ratnagiri in present-day Maharashtra. His other titles, Sea of Poppies, Gun Island, River of Smoke, and The Hungry Tide, are well-researched historic fictions. In Hungry Tide, he writes about the massacre of 30,000 Dalit Bangladesh refugees in the island of Marizjabi in Sundarbans, West Bengal in 1979. Similarly, William Dalrymple, whose books Anarchy and The Last Mughal are masterpieces. Wilbur Smith is another prolific writer who grew up in Africa. After reading his novels, I have fallen in love with Africa. He transports you to those places and to those historical time periods, and you feel you are one with the characters. Unfortunately, I have not yet visited Africa. However, one of the most memorable trips of my life was to the United Kingdom in 1984. My travels through England brought back memories of the poems of Wordsworth, Shelley, and Keats, as well as novels by Jane Austen, Thomas Hardy, Charles Dickens, Somerset Maugham, Bernard Shaw, and many others. I felt happy when I sat on the bench near a lake where Wordsworth had sat in the Lake District. I was fortunate to meet the legendary Justice Lord Denning. I had read all his books, Discipline of Law, The Due Process of Law, What Next in Law, Landmarks with Law, The Closing Chapter, and The Family Story, and had sent him a handwritten letter ahead of my visit in 1984. He sent his car to the railway station to pick up my wife and me. We spent one full day with him and Lady Denning. We had our lunch and tea with them. When we were leaving, Lady Denning drove the car to the railway station to drop us, and Lord Denning accompanied her. Both of them were over 80 years at the time. In 2013, I spent a day at Stratford-upon-Avon, birthplace of Shakespeare. When I visited China for the first time in 2008 and toured Shanghai and Beijing, I was astounded to see modern bustling megacities like New York or Paris or Berlin, very far removed from the old novels of Pearl's Buck or Shangri-La that I had read. Likewise, touring the United States for the very first time in 1995 on a visit arranged by the State Department of the US government was special for many reasons. But one of the reasons is the special relationship I have cultivated with the American authors and books and novels, starting from Dr. Granville Austin, who wrote on Indian Constitution, and continuing with other excellent works on the lives of great US jurists and justices such as Thurgood Marshall and John Marshall, and the biographies of those who shaped US Constitution and legal tradition. Travels and books are closely related. I have enjoyed travel writings by generations of others. During my own travels, I have enjoyed visits to bookstores and to libraries. One such visit was to the world's oldest university library in Dublin, Ireland, in the year 2013. I was doubly happy when I visited this university because Dr. Subbarayan, father of my senior Mohan Kumar Mangalam, was conferred with D.Litt for his thesis by this university. Secondly, I saw Book of Kells, an illuminated manuscript of 4 Gospels of the New Testament, which is 1,200 years old. I felt happy when I visited Uppsala University Library in Sweden. It was founded in 1477. This library has one of the longest collection of books in the world. Similarly, I was about to swoon when Dr. Granville Austin took me to the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. It is the largest library that I have ever seen. Although I appreciate and use online services such as Flipkart and Amazon and Kindle, I also believe bookstores and libraries are important for a society. There are aspects for interaction, a repository of knowledge. There are excellent publishing presses in Tamil Nadu doing great service like Vartaman Press, Bhavan's Journal, Bhavan's Publications, and many others. During my student days at Law College, I would frequent Moore Market where I found many treasures. I bought Mein Kampf for 100 rupees in 1963, which was a banned book in those days. Now it is freely available. As a trial lawyer, I would go there to find books on specific scientific topics to help me in my cross-examination. It is essential for a lawyer to read deeply and read widely. It is advisable to read books on Indian legal and judicial giants like Chakla's Roses in December, Justice Y.V. Chandrachud's autobiography, and biography of Nani Palkiwala. As a lawyer, I have been equally benefited from reading popular magazines such as Anandavudan, Kumudam, or Mangayar Malar. The quality of these magazines used to be high. The commentaries and short stories would give you an insight into the minds of ordinary people that one meets in day-to-day life, whether it's a young student or farmer or housewife. I have been fortunate in that my reading tastes are quite diverse. I have never discriminated between classical literature and modern popular forms. I have enjoyed the Puranas and Idihasas of Kalki and Rajaji, as well as the modern experimental novels by Jayakantan, Lakshmi, Sujata, and others. I have enjoyed Shakespeare and Shelley, as well as several new young writers who have completely different styles. I have enjoyed classical Indian English writers such as R.K. Narayan and Ruskin Bond, as well as the new category of investigative journalistic writing on people and events that history forgot. One such book is on Noor Inayat Khan, who was an Indian spy in Paris during World War II. A film has just been released. Another book, Blood Island, is on the massacre in the island of Midjabi in 1979. A more uplifting book in this category of non-fiction is the one about the wonderful women scientist at ISRO. I find myself collecting several books in this new category of writing. One could call this journalistic or investigative writing or evidence-based non-fiction. One must be open to new styles of writing, be it romance or thrillers or science fiction or even masala novels. It is also important to keep up with discoveries in science and the natural world, to read about the environment and ecology and the non-human world around us. In fact, this is what Jataka tales tried to do thousands of years ago, to understand the animal and natural life around us. Technology has made it possible for us to access literature from around the world and from different centuries. We must take advantage of this opportunity. I now spend several hours a week reading, writing, arranging my books. It's a source of great joy, and I like it when family members and friends borrow a book from my library. If there are so many new genres, categories of books, then what is the value of classic? What is a literary classic? A literary classic is one that feels fresh after 20 years or 200 years or 2000 years. Each time you revisit the classic, it reveals something new about human life, our world, inner feelings, about life's lessons. It never goes out of style. Literacy in India is still not at 100%. This means there are millions of fellow Indians who will never know the pleasure of reading books. Of course, they can at least watch television, or they still have folk traditions in some villages where stories are passed down orally, generation after generation. However, for future generations, all Indian children must be taught to read and must have access to good books in their native language. It's a wonderful habit for life. It refines thoughts, shapes the mind, and keeps you out of unnecessary chatter or activities. It increases vocabulary and enhances understanding of the world around us. What has been my journey through books, my intellectual voyage, my philosophy of life? My career as a lawyer did not permit much time for leisure reading during the time when I was building my practice. At the same time, no other career would have provided me this opportunity to be surrounded by books all the time. Over the past decade, I have once again dedicated more time toward reading and collecting books. Why do I love books so much? What is the feeling when I pick up a book and read it for the first time? Or when I return to an old book as though I'm meeting an old friend? Because books uplift your mind, widen your intellectual horizon, take you to the period where you want to be, make you talk to characters with whom you are familiar. Some books, like Mahabharata, you can read any number of times. You can find characters in Mahabharata in today's modern world. You can learn lessons from history. I can go on narrating like this about the benefit of book reading. I'm very happy and proud that our Prime Minister and Finance Ministers have started quoting from Sangam literature and from Tirukural. Our Prime Minister has quoted Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir, Tidum Nandrum from Pirarlara. And he also quoted Thiruvalluvar and Bharadiyar on several occasions. Our Finance Minister had quoted a poem by Pisrandayar, Kainal Aruthu Kavalam Koline Manire, while presenting the budget this year in the Parliament. With this, I conclude. If any of you want any questions, you are welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Om Prakash.
Thank you very much, sir. We are actually in loss of words hearing you through your journey of books. You yourself have referred that you had the opportunity of going through versatility. We could get to know about literature, English literature, Tamil literature. And as you rightly pointed out, even in the starting, you said there are 4 phases of it. So you started off with your 4th year in life when you are introduced to books from school. And till date, how the journey continues. It was wonderful hearing, sir. And I really pity that the youngsters don't have such kind of privileges these days. Rather, we could say it is they don't have privilege, but generations are moving towards the other way around. They are in a fast world, and I don't find much of youngsters sitting through 2 hours, 3 hours of sitting reading through the books. So your speech today should be an eye-opener. It should really kindle most wanted interest, and we will have all the participants who are there to share something. I find that Mr. Narasimhan wants to have a word with you, sir. We will unmute him.
Ravi, that was a very interesting lecture. I really liked it.
Thank you.
I have one question, in fact, 3 questions rolled into one on Nalayana Divya Prabandham.
Yes.
You mentioned that during the course of your talk, which is the pasuram which you liked most, which was composed by whom and why?
For us, it is Andal's, because our family deity is in Srivilliputtur. So we worship Andal.
No, you answered only part of my question. Which is Andal's pasuram which you liked most?
No, all 30.
All 30.
Yes. Because every day, if we start reading one pasuram, 30th day we will complete.
I was only hoping you will mention Pachama Malaipol Meni, sung by Thirumangai Alvar.
Because I have special connection with Srivilliputtur.
Okay, correct. I know that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Members who are interested can raise your hand so that we can. Ilamalidi, sir.
Ilamalidi, Papa.
My respectful respect to the beloved senior Mr. M. Ravindran, and I'm grateful to Mr. Om Prakash also.
Tamil பேசு இளமொழிதே தமிழ்லயே பேசு ஓ தமிழ் நல்லா இருக்கும்.
அதாவது உருவ ரீதியாக இதுவரை டென்னிஸை நாங்கள் பார்த்ததில்லை. ஆனால் டென்னிஸை பார்த்த மிகப்பெரிய மகானை இன்றைக்கு பார்க்கக்கூடிய மிகப்பெரிய வாய்ப்பை நாங்கள் பெற்றிருக்கிறோம். ஒன்று இங்கு நான் பதிவு செய்ய விரும்புகிறேன், என்னுடைய வருத்தத்தையும் பதிவு செய்ய விரும்புகிறேன், என்னுடைய ஆட்சேபனையும் பதிவு செய்ய விரும்புகிறேன். நாளைக்கு எனக்கு வாய்ப்பை அளித்து விட்டு நான் எதையெல்லாம் பேச வேண்டுமோ அதையெல்லாம் மூத்த வழக்கத்தை வைத்து பேச வைத்து விட்டு என் வாயை அடைப்பதற்காகவே இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை ஏற்பாடு செய்திருக்கிறார்கள் என்று நான் கருதுகிறேன். காந்தியை எடுத்தார், லால் பகதூர் சாஸ்திரியை எடுத்தார், இந்திரா காந்தியை எடுத்தார், நேருவை எடுத்தார், அத்தனை பேரையும் விட்டு விட்டார். சரி, அவர்களுடைய தலைப்பிலே வரவில்லை என்று பார்த்தால் ஷேக்ஸ்பியரை தொடுகிறார், டென்னிஸை தொடுகிறார், கீட்ஸை தொடுகிறார், ஷேக்ஸ்பியருக்கு பின்னாலே வந்த மில்டனை தொடுகிறார். சரி, இவை விட்டு விட்டார் என்று பார்த்தால் கல்கியை தொடுகிறார், பின்னாலே டிகேசியை தொடுகிறார். சரி, இவர்களை விட்டால் இந்த மாதத்தினுடைய ஆண்டாள் காப்பாற்ற வேண்டும் என்று ஆண்டாளையும் கையில் எடுத்துக்கொண்டால் இது நியாயமற்ற ஒரு போக்கு. நாளைக்கு நான் பகிஷ்கரிக்க விரும்புகிறேன், அவ்வளவுதான் என்னாலே சொல்ல முடியும். 72க்கு என்னை அழைத்து 80 கடக்கிற ஒருவரை 71வது வாய்ப்பை அளித்து பகிர வைப்பீர்களே, ஆனால் நிச்சயமாக சொல்லுகிறேன், என்னை அவமானப்படுத்துவதற்காகவே இந்த விழா ஏற்பாடு செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கிறது என்று நான் கருதுகிறேன். இன்றைக்குத்தான் என்னாலே உணர வருகிறது. இப்பொழுது நரசிம்மன் அவர்கள் கேட்டார்களே, எந்த பாசனம் உனக்கு பிடிக்கும் என்று. சர்க்கரையிலே எந்த சர்க்கரை இனிப்பு என்று சொன்னார்கள். 30 பாசனமும் என் ஆண்டாளை வணங்கக்கூடிய பாசனம். இறுதி பாசனத்திலிருந்து முதல் பாசனம் முறை எங்களுக்கு பிடிக்கும் என்று சொல்லி அவர் திருமங்கை ஆழ்வார் என்று சொன்னார். திருமங்கை ஆழ்வார் அல்ல, அதை பச்சை மாமலை போல் மேனி பவளவாய் கமலச்செங்கன் அச்சுதா அமரரே ஆயிரதும் கொழுந்தே என்னும் இச்சுவை தவிரையான்போ இந்திர லோகம் வாழும் எத்துவை விருணும் வேண்டேன் அரங்கமா நகருளானே ஊரிலே காணியாவும் உறவு மற்றொன்றுமில்லை பாவினின் பாத மூலம் பற்றினேன் பரமமூர்த்தி என்று கூறக்கூடியவர் திருமங்கை ஆழ்வார் அல்ல, தொண்டரடி பொடி வாழ்வார் விப்ரநாராயணன். அவரிடத்திலே பெருமாள் சொல்லுகிறார், உனக்கு திருப்பதியே எழுதி வைக்கிறேன் என்று. அப்பொழுதுதான் சொல்றார், எனக்கு எதையும் தேவையில்லை என்று. என்னை பொறுத்த மட்டிலே நான் 1985 நான் மூத்த வழக்கறிஞர் திரு ரவீந்திரன் அவர்களை அறிவேன். என்னுடைய தந்தையாருக்கும் அவர் மிகப்பெரிய நண்பர். இப்படிப்பட்ட அறிவின் ஊற்றாக இன்றைக்கு அவருடைய பரிணாமங்கள் விளங்கி இருக்கிறது. அவருடைய பேச்சை கேட்பதற்கு எனக்கும் வாய்ப்பளித்தமைக்காக என்னுடைய நன்றியறிதலை இங்கே பதிவு செய்து கொள்கிறேன். மேலும் நாளைக்கு இவருடைய பேச்சிலிருந்து சில வார்த்தைகளை நான் எடுப்பேனே என்றால் தயவு செய்து என்னை திருடியதாக அளவு செய்தாக கொள்ள வேண்டாம். அவருடைய வார்த்தைகளை மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை உபயோகப்படுத்துகிறேன் என்று சொல்லிவிட்டு காப்பிரைட் அவர் கொண்டாடக்கூடாது என்றும் இங்கு நான் விரும்பி வேண்டி கேட்டு விடைபெறுகிறேன். வணக்கம்.
ஐயா, நீங்க உங்ககிட்ட நாங்க கேட்கும் போதும் இந்த தலைப்புல பேசுங்க, இந்த பொருளை பத்தி பேசுங்கன்னு கேட்கல, எங்க கிட்ட சொல்லல. நாளைக்கு நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு நீங்க தலைப்பு அப்படின்னு மொத்தம் ஒரு தலைப்பை கொடுத்தீங்க, அவ்வளவுதான். அதனால எந்த விதமான உங்களுடைய
தலைப்பு topic is only a topic. Topic is a topic, whereas he must touch all the topics. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you, sir.
நீங்க எந்தெந்த எழுத்தாளரையா எந்தெந்த கூறுல சொன்னார்ன்றதை அழகா எல்லாரையும் அப்படியே கோடிட்டு காட்டினீங்க. ரொம்ப நன்றி சார். There is one small query from one of our participants who says, being such a busy lawyer, where do you find time to read still?
My time is because we have a lot of vacation, you will say. Every year we have 3 vacations. So during vacations I go out. I won't stay here. Mostly I don't appear during this vacation court and all that. Initial years I so whenever I go out of Madras, I carry books.
I just wanted to personally ask you, sir, which is the time of a day which you prefer to be a good time to read? Some people say it is early mornings, some people say it is in the late evenings.
No, for lawyers, morning will be problem because we have to go through the cost list, prepare our case, and we have to take out law journals and all that. So I prefer in the night, late night, after settling down everything and discussion with my junior colleagues and all that. After all of them leave, by 9:30 I start. 1 or 2 hours every day I read. Morning for lawyers, busy lawyers, it will be a problem. We don't have time.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. One of our participants, madam, wants to have something. Yes, ma'am.
I'm his sister. I'm in Coimbatore. எப்பவுமே எங்க போனாலுமே புக்ஸ் எடுத்துட்டு வந்துருவாங்க. மார்னிங்ல இருந்து ஈவினிங் வரைக்கும் ரிசார்ட்ல ஏதாவது போனோம், ரிசார்ட்ஸுக்கு போனோம், கொடைக்கானல் போனோம், எங்க போனாலும் புக்ஸ் த்ரூ அவுட் த டே கூட சலிக்காம படிப்பாங்க.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
I'm proud of him.
We have Pritika Sivaraman having raised the hand.
It's a very interesting topic that you have chosen, sir. I'm really blessed to be part of this meeting. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. I like the Tirukural that you have mentioned. I used to say, Praveen, often like, whatever others says, please look into it and try to understand the truth in it and then act upon it. So on hearing that, I'm really blessed, and thanks for this opportunity, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Prakash, 1 minute before we conclude.
Yes, sir.
Whoever is interested in Indian history, I will just to show 5 books. You see, any youngsters interested?
Yes, sir.
This is Anarchy, written by William Dalrymple. This shows how a joint stock company started in London in 1600, conquered India, and ruled till 1858, the time when Queen Victoria took over the administration. This is 258-year-old history, completely researched, and with the documentary proof he has written. So this has to be followed by the same author, The Last Mughal. You see, the king, Mughal king, last king, he was exiled to Rangoon. So after the Indian mutiny in 1857, 1859, he was taken to Rangoon, where he died after 2 years. This gives the mutiny and all that, all the details, the plunder of Delhi by the British. Then this is the actual history of the Indian mutiny. This is not written by a single author. This contains letters written by kith and kin of those who were killed in 1857 in Lucknow and other places. This contains the letters, original letters written by them. This is Jallianwala Bagh massacre, 1919, where thousands of people were killed by General Dyer. This is a much researched book. I have another book, older book, but this has come out of much research done by author now. This is Partition, which starts from 1945 to 1950. So how India was partitioned, and during partition, how many people died and what happened and all that. If one has all these books in the library from 1600 to 1950, 350 years history is in your hands. I completed all these books during this lockdown. Very interesting books, and I recommend to all the members, you can buy this and read. Thank you.
Right. Yes, sir. We don't find any other person.
No, I have some small
yes.
questions. Sir, this is Sivashanmugam. இது வரைக்கும் நீங்க படிச்ச புக்ல எந்த புக் உங்களை வந்து ரொம்ப நேரம் யோசிக்க வச்சதுல தூங்க விடாம பண்ண புக்?
படிச்ச புக்ல ரொம்ப நேரம் யோசிக்க வச்சதா?
ஆமா.
படிச்ச புக்ல இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் புக்னா திருக்குறள். திருக்குறள் இப்போ மாடர்ன் எழுத கீதாஞ்சலி. கீதாஞ்சலியில எனக்கு பிடிச்சது கீதாஞ்சலி டாகூர் எழுதுனது எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும். பட் ரொம்ப பேருக்கு அதோட ஃபோர்வர்ட் WB ஈட்ஸ் எழுதியிருக்காரு. That is a classic, that is literary piece. It is considered as one of the best in the world today. WB Yeats, he has written forward. So I cherish these 2 books. Any time of the day I can take and read. பாதிச்சதுன்னு சொன்னா மனசு பாதிச்சது வந்து வில்லியம் ஷைரர்ஸ் Rise and Fall of the Third Reich and books connected with Second World War concentration camps. எத்தனை பேர் செத்தாங்க, how they were gassed, how they were killed. So if we read that, we cannot sleep for at least 1 week. இப்படி கூட மனிதனுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி கூட ஒரு குணம் இருக்குமா அப்படின்னு நமக்கு ஆச்சரியமா இருக்கும். அதெல்லாம் வந்து மனசை ரொம்ப பாதிக்கக்கூடியது. பட் ஆனந்தம் கொடுக்கக்கூடியது கவிதைகள் தான். கீட்ஸ், ஷெல்லி, வேர்ட்ஸ்வர்த், லாங்ஃபெல்லோ, எப்போ வேணாலும் எடுத்து படிச்சுக்கிட்டே இருக்கலாம். தமிழ்ல நம்ம கம்பன் தான். கம்பன், கல்கியோட கதைகள், பொன்னியின் செல்வன்.
இடமழுதி சார் ஏதோ சொல்ல வந்தாங்க,
சொல்லுங்க.
இல்ல எல்லாத்தையும் கேட்டு நாளைக்கு ப்ரோக்ராம் இல்லாத கொண்டு போறாங்கன்னு
உனக்கு
என் பையன் எனக்கு சார்
Yes, sir. Narasimhan, sir, you are on unmute. You can proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. Ravi, you have read so many books.
Yes.
I am proud of you. But then these youngsters of today,
Yes.
they're almost married to the WhatsApp and the TV and all that. How to make them read good books? For example, my own grandchildren, they hardly read any book other than their school books or college books. Is there any method or any way we can make them interested in the books?
No, youngsters, I have seen our advocate friends, they use Kindle. They read, they have extra reading through Kindle. Because like we bought books, they are not buying books. They use Kindle. But for youngsters, as you say, you have to make them read. Because Ambali Mama is not coming now. In our younger days, we had Ambali Mama and all those things. And it is not, it ceased publication. So very unfortunate. So we have to collect old Ambali Mamas from somewhere and give it to the children and make it. In Mylapore, there are several shops. They have these old editions of Ambali Mama. Okay. And we have to make it interesting for them to read.
Thank you.
I just thought I will add, sir. 2 days Ravindran sir will come to seeing him with the books and seeing the joy he finds in the books, the children should naturally catch on to it.
Thank you.
Sir, the Ananda Selvam, an advocate practicing in Supreme Court, asked what is the best book for South Indian history?
South Indian?
History.
South Indian history, Tamil or English? And then the right manner. அப்படியே 5 book இருக்கு பாரு. We have Tamilnadu வரலாறும் பண்பாடும். Dr. Venkatesan. It has 5 volumes. Then we have Pirkala Solar Thartharam, Sadasiva Pandarathar. It gives only Chola history. So Sadasiva Pandarathar is considered to be an authority.
Thank you very much, sir.
And Majumdar's about 30-40 volume Indian history. It has reference to Tamil Nadu history also. Majumdar, it's a 40 volume published by Bhavan's Journal. I have one complete set. So while narrating the Indian history of Tamil Nadu also comes in. He is considered to be an authority.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful day. There could not have been a better day to start with on a new year to hear from one of the doyens of the bar on a subject which was not actually law. We had the benefit of being appraised of what is the importance of reading through books, what is the importance of traveling with the books. Thank you very much on behalf of all the members of the study circle. When we had invited Ravindran sir to give a lecture on this, he immediately agreed upon. He said, if you are in fact ready, I can take you for a 2-day session also. We will have part 1 and we will have part 2. So that was the interest in which Ravindran sir was ready to address the gathering. And he has in fact, within this short time, taken us through the entire gambit of it as to how the books had traveled with his life. And in the process, it is also a lesson for us to look back at every stage as to how a book had shaped you in your career, had shaped you in your life, and also to inculcate an interest among every one of us as to how we have to travel with the books. Thank you very much, sir. I once again, on behalf of all the members of the study circle, thank you very much for having spent this wonderful time with us. And it had been a very useful evening for all the members.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your holiday.
Thank you. With this, we end the session.